There are three major obstacles people have when it comes to kind of like achieving a pro level. Number one is time, and I want to show you some strategies how you can solve that. Number two is money. So maybe you're thinking you don't have the money to spend on VSTs and courses and stuff, and I want to show you actually how you can save money and why you don't need so much money. And the third one is skills, and I want to also show you that this is like a misconception a lot of people have. So let's dive into that. A lot of people say they don't have the time to make quality music. And let me dive a bit deeper into that. So first of all, time is the most fair distributed resource worldwide. Everybody of us has 24 hours in one day. There might be people who have more money and less money, or who are healthier and less healthier, but in the end, time, everybody has 24 hours. And yes, I get it, there's like different obligations like work, family, or whatever is on your schedule, but still, there is a lot of time which just gets wasted. And let me dive deeper into that. If you want to get more time for your music, then you need to do less of the things which will kill your time. I call them time killers, and that's kind of like social media, for example. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and yeah, if you're doing your own like artist profile and you're doing some videos or tutorials like me, then that's productive social media time. But the unproductive social media time, which I'm talking about, is the time where you're sitting there and you're scrolling through your phone, or you're on your computer scrolling, and you're just like watching and consuming. And those apps are designed to take your attention and to make you addictive and to spark dopamine in your head. So if you just Google a bit about that, and you will find out actually how badly this is. And I want to make a little exercise with you guys. I want you to track your time for 1 week. So first of all, you just take like a simple sheet of white paper, and yes, it will take some time this week, and it's not a waste of time. I promise you. When I did this, it was amazing. What insights you get, and I really want you to write down like every time you do something else. So let's say you're reading a book, then you write down like 9:13 reading a book, and then maybe 9:40 or something, you get a call, and you write that down, like that you had like 5 minutes of a call. I mean, you don't need to write down everything like 1 minute pieces, but like 5 minutes or 15 minutes kind of like is already quite a big interruption of things. And if you write that down, you first will notice how often you get interrupted while you're doing things, and actually how less you were able to focus, because our world became like this old buzz of things everywhere happening. And it's really important. It's a really important skill, not only for music production, but for everything in your life, to focus, to do one thing for like a certain amount of time. There's also techniques about that. For example, the Pomodoro technique, in which you set like a timer for 25 minutes and you just work on this task. And then after this 25 minutes, you can do something else. And 25 minutes sounds really short, but to be honest, it isn't. If you write it down, you will notice how often we get distracted and how often we think we are doing something for a long time, but we actually don't. And you will also see how much time we spend on TV, on our phones. So please do this for at least a day or 3 days if you can, but better would be like a whole week, so that you have like the weekdays and the weekend in it. And then analyze this and check out what happens. So where does your time go? Put it into buckets, maybe like work, family, friends, sleeping, commute, and distractions. So you could label whatever is something which is a distraction. And yeah, I get it. Also, you need to rest, but is it really resting if you're in front of like a computer screen scrolling? Or is it resting if you meditate or do like a walk, or spend some time with your kids, family, girlfriend, wife, whatever, husband? So check that if you're really putting the time into the right places, because as said in the last video, where we put our energy, where we put our direction, that is what we kind of like what we will get in the end. And so it's really important that we take control of our time. And the best thing actually is if you download like an extension, for example, for your browser, which blocks those sites or just allows those sites for a certain amount of minutes. Because if you block them completely, It's also nice because you can still unblock them and then enter them, but you kind of like remove this component that you're mindlessly opening the website. And that happened so many times to me that I'm kind of like sitting there, I'm waiting for, let's say, like a plugin to install, and then I'm opening Facebook and I'm lost at it. And I really want you to take back control of your own time, to manage your time, because that will be really important for your progress, because without the time you put in, you cannot get something out. So that's the first thing we need to fix. Then once you have removed all the distractions, it's important that you save some time for your music. I know don't feel always in the mind of doing things, and we don't feel always creative. You can use this creative spark moments to make some extra hours for music, but you should also make a fixed appointment with yourself to make music. So put it in the calendar, block 1 or 2 hours. Ideally every day, or maybe like twice or thrice a week, let's say 2 hours, you block in your calendar and you just make music. And as I said with this course, and I hope you're still doing this, put your phone away, put every distractions away, close all the websites where you get like messages and pop-ups, or even the best thing actually is if you disable all these push notifications, because in the end it's better if you do a pull than a push. So whenever you wanna answer messages, you sit down and you answer like 30 messages at once, and not like one message here and another 5 minutes there comes the next message, and you kind of like getting dependent on other people. You want to take control over your own time. And also there's a thing most people don't know, we have like a ramp up time. So whenever you're doing something and then comes like an interruption, then it takes us like, let's say 15-20 minutes to get back to that concentration level, to really perform well again. And this is really hard in doing things like art and music. I think you need to dive into the mood and everything. And then if you making like this arrangement or lead and then comes like a message and you answer and you're kind of like out of it. And so it's really important to save this time and make it your own encapsulated music time. And you just sit down and make music, and maybe there's nothing happening in the first 20 minutes, but after a while you automatically get in. And if you get used to it and you have like a creative space which you save for yourself, then it will also kind of like flow more naturally and more easy with time to get into that state of mind. Also, if you don't have 1 or 2 hours a day, even if you removed all the distractions, which I think is the most problem for me and other people actually to have those hours, then there's a good book. It's called The Miracle Morning. And to summarize this, you don't actually need to read the whole book. The main plot of this book is that you set an alarm clock like 1 or 2 hours earlier than you usually get up. So let's say you have to go work at 8 o'clock in the morning and you need like an hour to get there and to dress up and everything. So then set your alarm not at 7, set it at 6 o'clock and then make 1 hour of music. And maybe you think that's crazy. I hate like going up early in the morning. But if you do that for like 2-3 weeks, then you get used to it. You wake up earlier and it's amazing because you're starting the day with something great, with something you love, and you will be way more relaxed than if you kind of like get up, woken up by an alarm clock, and then you think, oh, I have to go to work or something. I guess most of you know that feeling actually. If you want to do something special on the weekend, let's say like go hiking or go snowboarding or whatever you like to do, and you need to kind of like get up early for that because you need to catch a train, or let's say you want to take full profit of that day, then getting up early actually becomes way more easy than if you need to get up for something which you hate or which you don't enjoy as much as your hobby. And hopefully music is something you enjoy. We lose a lot of time by being inefficient, and I promised you this course will make you more efficient. And there is something called the Toyota production system. It's from the car manufacturer Toyota, and they kind of like analyzed the whole processes, and they found out that if they do certain things like ordering all their tools, that their workers get more efficient because they don't search the tools all the time. And we can do the same thing even in a creative job like music. You can order your tools, you can give them like little markers. So for example, on Mac, you can set this colors enabled, and I think on Windows probably too. You can make your user library organized, so you can put like everything into neat folders. I will also explain in my course, once you finish a track, what you can do. It's a little bit much to explain right now here, but if you take that, you will also see that how you can get more efficient by doing little things like that. It's also important that you create like starter kits and templates for yourself. So every time you have an interesting rack in your DAW, so a rack is kind of like combined instruments and stuff, then you can save that. You can also save like a template track where you already have like a kick and bass and drums and stuff in there, or everything grouped neatly, so that it just becomes like a breeze starting projects. And if you do more and more of this kind of like little order things, you will spend less time searching for things or doing things like twice and thrice, and just use that time like for producing actually. And you will spend less time like looking for things and also doing things like double. And you can use this time which you save then in producing more music and producing better music, more quality music. And also, it's not only about putting the things you need in the right order and in the right place, it's also about removing things you don't need. I mean, I guess everybody knows this if you have like a flat or a house, that there's like garbage kind of like collecting over the years. And if you remove that, then you actually make space for the things you really need and you are using. And that makes it also more efficient and more quick, because there's so many like free VSTs and we tend to download them because we think, oh, that's free. But actually, it's not really free because we spend time with that, and also it kind of like blocks your space, and it takes time kind of like to look through. So there's kind of like hidden costs. Nothing is free out there, brothers. So everything which comes for free also has like a downside. That's really important to know. So my task for today is that you make this list where you time track your own time for at least a day, 3 days or 7 days, and then you take control back of your time. Then I want you to block as much time as you can spend and want to spend on making music every week, but I want you to consistently do this. I want you to really stick to it and not kind of like sacrifice. It's kind of like, it's like a business appointment, or appointment with your doctor. So you don't sacrifice this. It's on your calendar and you do it. And if you don't do it, then you should at least find a new spot where you do it in that week. And last but not least, I really want you to organize yourself. I want you that you make it easier for your own workflow, that you organize your tools, that you kind of like mark everything in the correct way, that you put everything in the correct folders, that you organize your samples, and that you weed out your stuff. So do that, and then write down in the comments if it helped you, what kind of like insights you got, and yeah, and let me know if you're motivated to continue this.